Hello everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Orborun. This is a Unity game made by... Actually, let's get in here and I might be able to give you an idea with the credits. So, you got some music and sounds by these guys here, profiles.google.com/jungle with an extra G. It's all under Creative Commons. And the thing is, with the music, I apologize about the names. I know I didn't read them. I'm not really sure how to even pronounce some of them. Deja Vu, Lucify, Sue Clash, Lazy Daisies. As you can see, there appears to be 3 songs. I'm assuming one of them is the music that you hear at the front of the game, so just out here, and then you have 2 more tracks in the game itself, and that was actually going to be one of my critiques. I'll get to that in just a minute, but continuing on, there's some social media information and some special thanks, and it was of course developed by Tiny Lab Productions. So getting back into here, you have single player and multiplayer. I'll be honest with you, I haven't tried out the multiplayer. Maybe we'll take a look at that in a minute, because I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in how that plays. But so far I've spent about an hour and a half or so, and I've been just doing the single player. As you can see, I'm on Haste 2, but I haven't completed absolutely everything. But I have completed all of Haste 1, for example. And I'm one of those kind of guys that when I play a game like this, I'm sort of a completionist. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because I thought maybe there's some other characters and I thought maybe they would allow me to be a little bit faster or something. You can see at the bottom right you have Orbots, and if you come over here, this little tomato guy is actually who I played almost all of the game with so far. I haven't even bothered unlocking this guy, and I thought, oh, this guy looks like, you know, he's clearly the speedy one. Well, you know, unfortunately, that does not appear to be the case. It doesn't actually change your speed, so that's fine. Cosmetic stuff, it's good. If you press... I'm using the controller just so that I can not have to hunch over keyboard, but keyboard works just fine. And it's interesting that high scores are not supported. Achievements not yet supported. I'm not sure if that is just on my end, and it probably doesn't bode well for the multiplayer, but I just got this game today on the Humble Bundle. It's on Steam. I'm playing it through Steam, but for whatever reason, it's just not working. There are some controls here. You have quick retry and back, and that's, you know, pretty much all you need to know besides moving. It's very, very similar. It's in the same vein. Let's go ahead and get started here. I'll play through the first few levels, that way you can kind of get the sense of it, and the tutorial will give you an idea of what's going on while I talk. So this game to me definitely feels like sort of a 3D take on oh, of course I can't remember it now. It's a huge game. Super Meat Boy, of course. You have a tunnel that you're going down, and your goal is to reach the end in a reasonably quick time, collecting things as you go. Now, of course, there's not as much spinning blades of death and things going on here, but it doesn't have to be. It's more of like a racing. Maybe Trials is more of an apt comparison. Something sort of like Trials Evolution or something like that, but without bikes. And when you complete a level, you get a time, how fast you completed it, how many points you got. Those little blue things that I pick up, I'll show you here. These little blue things are worth points. They're worth a single point. And there's also red ones that are worth 5 points, and then you can break blue glass to get more points again, and then red glass will detract points. I don't think I've actually hit one of those yet, and I don't intend to try. So as we finish this level, and you can see that there's how many points I got. The time bonus, I don't really know how that's calculated, but it's there. The number of coins that you picked up, and finally keys. And keys are kind of like a point multiplier if it's what I'm thinking it is. Oh, I missed one. But these little gold cubes give you speed boosts, and they use them to pretty good effect in this game. Some of them can be pretty interesting, but I think that the difficulty curve on this game is pretty good. It doesn't just give you the basics and then say, okay, now you're gonna be expected to do loop-de-loops and all kinds of other crazy stuff. No, it's not quite that harsh, and I'm not going to be able to just completely get everything while I'm talking at the same time. That's just not gonna happen. But if I'm correct, they don't actually say, so I don't know. But I think these are keys, and the color actually is associated with what kind of level you're playing. So the blue ones are always going to be on these sort of, I forgot what they called them, like hyper levels or speed levels or whatever. And it's more of just a track. And he does occasionally, the character will come up and get out of his ball and walk around. I think that can actually be detrimental. I think they could have used that better. Maybe having like whole tracks that used the walking mechanic. But so like he's kind of floaty. I don't know if you could see that, but if he's walking, he's kind of floaty, and that doesn't help the game. But don't get me wrong, this is not a bad game. This is a pretty fun game. There's some other things to talk about. Again, there's the quick replay or retry feature. Oh, my controller does some weird things. Sometimes it just kind of gets stuck at an angle. I don't know what that's about, but you can see on the top right, I have like 15 of the dude in like a bind, and I'm gonna die intentionally to show you. So now it's 14. So I guess that's sort of your lives. And then if you hit the Y button, it does a quick retry and sends you right back to the beginning. So that's kind of what I was getting at with Super Meat Boy thing, is if you die, I'll go to a harder level in a second, but if you die and you're the kind of person that wants to retry over and over and over, and you really, it's got to be perfect, that's going to be very important to you, because it's very frustrating whenever you have to go through 3 menus just to get to retry a level, and then you have to sit through loading and things. This game doesn't make you do that, so that's really really nice. And there's these wormholes that will take you from one place to another, and those are actually used very well later in the game. You kind of have to play through the same level a few times, but taking different paths, so it's actually a lot of fun. So we'll do one more here, and this is actually, you can kind of get the idea, there's a bunch of different paths. I'm going to try and take the correct path. If I can, I don't remember what the correct path was. Okay, so you can kind of tell I'm in a loop. Oh my goodness. Awesome. So those are the hyper levels. They're more about speed than anything. And we're gonna back out to the menu. Haste, that's what it's called. So the fast ones are haste levels. And then if we come over here, there's puzzle levels as well. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7? Surely not. 7? Yeah, I guess so. So 7 quote-unquote worlds, and all the levels have about, or all the worlds have about 15 levels in them. So that's like 30, 60, 90. I don't know how many bonus levels there will be. It looks like that's probably a mix. But probably somewhere around 100, 105 or so levels in the whole game. And it's taken me about an hour and a half to beat And again, I was really focusing on getting 3 stars, as you can see. So an hour and a half to beat maybe a third of the game. So you're talking maybe 5-7 hours, and if you're really blazing through it, then it might take less time, you know. So I suppose buyer beware in that respect. It's not an expensive game. I think I picked it up for like 59 cents on Humble Bundle, so I think it's definitely worth that. I mean, I couldn't not pick it up. I picked it up out of curiosity, to be honest, because come on, it's so cheap, but it's actually done very, very well. The only downsides that I can think of, there's a few criticisms. I'll go over them really quick. Whenever you restart, here, let's go to the puzzle world. If you restart, you see how the camera kind of zooms in on you? If you restart, it does that every single time. And I'm not the kind of person to get motion sickness or anything like that, but if you have motion sickness, I could see that being a truly big deal, a deal breaker even. And I really wish they would get that sorted out, because I feel like my pupils are dilating every single time. It's just, come on now, that's not necessary. So here, let's do this level a little bit better. I think this one is an interesting one, like I mentioned before. So you come down here and you hit this, and then it sends you back up top. So you kind of have to go through a little bit of the same area more than once. And I think I mentioned this, but those, oh, I missed one. But those red discs are worth 5, I think, or 10. They're the same sort of thing as the blue ones, but they're worth more, of course. Maybe they're only worth, I don't know. Let's try this one again. Let's see if we can get them all. We had 27 last time, so we'll come down here, get this blue thing and the key, and jump through here and get a second key. Alright, and got it that time. Okay, so how many do we have now? What did I say, 27 before? Oh, so it's only worth 1. Maybe it's just worth more points, I guess. So anyway, the camera is a real issue when you're starting a level. Otherwise, camera is fine. There's no problems with the camera other than starting the level and having to restart and things of that nature. I don't ever have problems with it kind of like snaking around or getting out of control or anything like that. So that's probably, to be honest, my biggest complaint. So that's pretty hefty praise, I think. Everything else is done fairly well. You can see there are some moving platforms as you get deeper into the game. And another complaint is that, again, there's only a couple tracks in the game. So if you are a music lover, or if you want a lot of music, or you want a lot of variety, you're probably going to want to mute the game, or at least the music, and have, you know, your personal music playing in the background. We can come out here real quick and I'll give you an idea. So we start the level and you get that music, right? And then you start it again and you get this more upbeat music. But as you can see, it's on a loop. It doesn't matter if you change levels. It's just it switches between 2 tracks. So it's nice because it's not like you're gonna random the same music twice, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, come on, you know, a couple more tracks would have been nice. And I thought maybe it was just that there were 2 tracks per world. No, as you saw in the title, or the credits, there's only 2 tracks, or 3 tracks technically, but one of them is devoted to the splash in the game. So there's that, and that's pretty much it. The only other thing is I got 2 stars here, as you can see at the bottom below the total. Sometimes I am positive that I've gotten every single disc point thing, and I've gotten every single key, I've gotten every single blue cube and gold cube and everything in the game, or in the level anyway, and I still managed to only get, oh geez, and I still only managed to get 2 stars, and I don't know why. If you know why, let me know, because I don't get it. I don't know if this music's gonna loop in time to hear it. We'll hear it again. But okay, here we go. So, does this not sound almost like Mega Man on the 64? You know the one. There were a couple of them, but Mega Man on the Nintendo 64, this music sounds just like it. And I like that. I liked the music, I liked that game a lot, but anyway, for this level I'll use a keyboard. I was using just the my controller like I mentioned, but as you can see, controls with the keyboard, absolutely fine, there's no problems with that. In fact, that was a little bit of a tricky turn. He's a little slow, this guy, he's a little slow to turn. So you kind of got to be careful with that. Oh, I'm not going to make it. You got to get all 3 of those. So anyway, break the glass, jump up here, and this video is still going on. I think you probably have the idea behind Orborun, but I'm still playing, and that's a good sign. It's not like I'm trying to cut it short or anything necessarily. So I really appreciate and like the whole maziness while simultaneously trying to be fast with the game. I think it's done very well, and I think that it's, again, the difficulty curve is good for people who don't necessarily know what they're doing, and people that also are heavily invested in this sort of game. Like this level took me a little while because well, I'll show you one other kind of little nitpick that I have with the game. If you run into something straight on, oh come on, if you run into something straight on, it will stop you and force you to restart the level. So see, or at least restart at a checkpoint. I'm assuming those little blue boxes are checkpoints, but so you see, I kind of hit that one at an angle, and I'll try and demonstrate that a little bit better with the boxes here. So if I, oh no, here one more time. If I don't do it this time, we'll continue on. I'll go this way. So you kind of see how I bounced off of it. That's actually really important to know, because later on you're going to have to use that mechanic. You have to bounce off of things in order to take a corner more sharply than you would have otherwise. And you're kind of taught to expect to not want to run into walls on these levels. It's almost saying, hey, don't hit walls ever. And so when I was going back through, okay, there we go. When I was going back through those other levels that require it, I was like, well, how am I supposed to play this? How am I supposed to do it? I'm not supposed to hit a wall. But, you know, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results is the definition of madness, right? So eventually I decided, well, I'm not going to just keep avoiding the walls, we might as well try something, and then I figured it out. But they don't really tutorialize that. So, oh, this is the level I was mentioning before where you have to go through the same area multiple times. I will try to demonstrate. So I spent quite a bit of time taking the lower path first. You actually want to take the bottom path, or the top path first, and I'll tell you why. Okay. It's because later on in the level, there's moving platforms, and if you take the bottom route first, then you have to take the top route and then the bottom route again. Oh, I've lost my concentration. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, I botched it. So you'll get to see up here. Well, these are kind of an annoyance too, but or is it? Oh yeah, so in order to hit all of those blue panels of glass, you see they didn't really line up. In order for them to line up, you have to take the paths in a very determined way. So Anyway, you kind of have to min-max your strategy in that regard, so that's good. But oh, so here's the level I mentioned. It's sort of tutorializing, hey, you're gonna have to hit the wall, but I don't understand why hitting it straight on will make you stop in your tracks. That's kind of frustrating. Otherwise, the game is really solid. The music's good. I wish there was more of it, but the music is good. The sound design is good. There's no sound for bouncing off a wall, which is, you know, it's sort of a, oh, what? Okay. But you would think maybe a little tink or something when you hit the wall. Something. I'm assuming these guys are made out of metal or something. Okay. And I'm really bad about just mashing Y, so I'm gonna try and not do that. My controller's not working quite right. I totally pushed left there, and it did not go left. You're always constantly moving forward. You don't have any control over that. I thought I did. Well, I assumed I did. I guess I had kind of like a Sonic sort of thing on my mind when I went into this game. And I'll show you. If you constantly push forward, you're gonna get this weird camera angle business going on, and it's kind of jarring. You really don't want to do that. Oh, see? Oh no. Okay. So, and now my controller's going wonky because it does that sometimes. This is a really cool level too. Again, you have to use the walls in order to bounce over and grab this, and then bounce over again. And you kind of do like a spiral, which is really interesting. But I'm not doing very well on the puzzle levels. Let's go on to Hazard, just to give you an idea of what you're getting into. The Hazard levels are more of an obstacle course. So you have speed levels. You have, I guess, almost like platforming levels with the second set, the orange ones. And then you have these levels, which are more of obstacle courses, and I'm probably not going to do very well on these because I haven't spent too much time on them. I spent more time trying to perfect the other ones, with in particularly haste. Haste is what I expected the whole game to be, so it's nice that there is some difference in the gameplay. And there's these little arrow circles that are like jump pads basically, and you have to hit those beams of light or you're gonna have a hard time. But I think I kind of got around it. I'm gonna show you exactly what you're supposed to do though, because I didn't even think to do the level that way the first time around. I don't know if that's an intended thing. So you come up here and hit the beam of light, and as long as you interrupt it at least a little bit, it'll open a door. And I think almost all of those will open doors. So only 2 stars. I think you pretty much have to completely perfect the level in order to get 3 stars, because I think I only missed 1 or 2 things on that last level. Anyway, so you can kind of get an idea. I'll go to the last, well, maybe not the last level, the second to last level that I was on here. So let's go back. And you can already see, oh, I don't want to do this one. This one's hard. Mainly because I'm not sure how to work the angles on these loop-de-loops. The camera's not bad, it's just, I feel like the controls are almost inverted whenever your camera is trying to follow you in the tunnels. So, I don't know. It's weird. So, anyway, that's Orborun in a nutshell. Let's go over a few things really quick. Navigating the menu is pretty simple. I mean, really, you could probably play this whole game with like an old NES controller. You only need a couple buttons and a D-pad, or A and D space, and that's pretty much it. So, getting around the game is pretty easy. Controls just fine. I don't have any qualms with how he moves. He's a little floaty when he walks, and maybe a hair stiff when he's rolling, but I think it's by design, really. I don't really have a problem with how he rolls. I'd rather it be this way than be super floaty and him fly off and I can't control him. So it's really not an issue. Difficulty curve is really good. Solid. I'll actually show you where I am right now. So haste 2, I just kind of got angry and I was like, okay, let's do the video because as you can see, I already botched it. I hit that wall, and the difficulty curve does ramp up considerably. You probably, okay, hold up. You probably saw that platform moving, and I'm not gonna worry about the points this time, but oh, no. So you can't even so much as bump into the little hazard walls at the front of this level, or you're just boned. It has to be perfect. So it does definitely ramp up. I don't even think I beat that last level because I was like, well, heck with it. But let's see how level 2 goes, just to give you an idea for haste 2. Oh, I see. So you got to loop, oh, and you have to time it to get over to the left-hand side. I see. So come over here through the wormhole, and on the second pass, yes. Here we go. And more moving platforms. A lot of these, if you have any acumen with these sort of games, you'll probably be doing alright, especially on the haste levels. I'm not great at them, but especially haste 1, the first world of the haste levels, not really too bad, to be honest. Looks like we have some round areas that we can play with, and all kind. Oh my goodness, what are we supposed to do here? Okay, well, anyway, interesting, very interesting. So, I'm just looking. Oh, the other game that makes me think of this, or another game that reminds me of the mechanics of this game, is actually Marble Madness. So a lot of people probably may not know Marble Madness at this point. It was a game that I grew up with on the NES. It's a lot of fun. It's very, very difficult, but it's basically a maze and you're guiding a marble through it. The difference is that you can change your momentum with Marble Madness and you can't in Orborun. So, but otherwise it's basically a similar, in the same vein at least. So there's that. Let's quickly go into multiplayer. Let's say 2 players. This appears to be, I'm already getting the sense that this is going to be local multiplayer only. Oh yeah, okay. So it appears to not be online multiplayer. I don't know, maybe this is just a straight shoot, so maybe we'll be able to get, oh, there's like a ghost of your the opponent. So he's gonna beat me a little bit because I was getting the other me will beat me a little bit. Oh, they don't even show both people. Interesting. So here, I don't know what to think about this. It's a good addition. It's always nice to have multiplayer, but I think it is going to be like couch multiplayer. It's really meant to be with you know, somebody local, a friend or family member. So, or maybe possibly this is meant to be cooperative multiplayer. Maybe this isn't supposed to be racing against each other. Maybe the idea is that maybe you have a hard time on a level and you need somebody to take one path while you take another path so that you can get all the points and the keys and things. That kind of makes sense and would be a really nice addition to the game, actually. Let's get real crazy here and see what this looks like. So, as you can see, every player has their own different key combinations and things, and it looks like it supports up to 4 controllers. I'm trying to take it all in, so I'm not really focusing on points and things, but So anyway, yeah, that looks like that it might be cooperative. So that's cool. So that's Orborun. Local multiplayer. It's got a very solid single player experience. Good sound design, good art, good music. A couple little nitpicky things, but otherwise it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it, especially if you manage to get it on sale. You know, like I said at the beginning, I couldn't not pick it up for less than $1. I had to. It was like, you know, why not at this point? I have quite the Steam library as it is. It's sort of my thing. I like to collect them. And getting it, I think it was 59 cents on sale. I couldn't pass it up. So, pretty solid title. I hope that maybe I didn't know about this until I saw it in the Humble Bundle store on the sale. So I would have not known otherwise about this game. So hopefully this video brings it to your attention. Maybe you didn't know about it, or maybe you really like the idea of having a game that you can play locally with somebody else. This would be a really fun one to do that with. But yeah, so hopefully this is a good look at Orborun. Maybe you will pick it up as a result. And thanks for watching, guys. This has been a lot of fun. It's the first video of a Let's Look At series, so with any series, the first video is going to be an important one. So if you enjoyed it, let me know. Thumbs up the video, give me a comment, let me know if it was good or if there's something that I can improve on, or maybe I just didn't hit a point that you wanted to hear. So again, thank you all, and I will see you in the next one.